Assalamualaikum everyone. Myself Hafida Kashyap from BS Biosciences third semester. Today I am here to present my presentation of plant systematics. So the topic of my presentation is classification of plants. In this I will discuss on which basis we can classify the plants, because there are many bases on which we can classify the plants. For example, on the basis of flowering or non-flowering plants, vascular or non-vascular systems, angiosperms or gymnosperms, but they can also classified as grasses, herbaceous or trees. So now in my presentation I'm going to present and classify them on the basis of flowering or non-flowering plants. First of all, definition of classification. This ordering of organisms into groups based on similarities and differences is called classification. Classification वो सिस्टम है जिसमें हम organisms and plants को उनकी similarities और dissimilarities की basis पे different groups में divide करते हैं. So plant kingdom is classified into two groups. First one is non-flowering plants and the second one is flowering plant. So what is different between non-flowering plants and the flowering plants? Non-flowering plants, that plants which don't grow flowers and use either seeds or spores, and the flowering plants, that plants which grow flowers and use seeds to reproduce more plants. And non-flowering plants further divided into three groups. First one is mosses, second one is ferns, and the third one is gymnosperms, which don't produce flowers because these are non-flowering plants. A plant can be divided into three parts. First one is root, second stem, third one is leaf. Three main basic parts of the plant are root, leaf, and the stem. So first group is mosses. First of all, definition of mosses. What is mosses? Mosses are non-vascular plants. They are small, a few centimeters tall, and they are non-woody plants. They absorb water and nutrients mainly through their leaves, and they mostly found in damp and shady places. They are important in nutrient. So here is some characteristics of mosses. Mosses are simplest plants. They have no true roots, no vascular tissues, and they are simple stems. They have simple stems and leaves. Spores from capsules have rhizoids for anchorage, and they are found in damp and crystal land. So here is some examples of mosses. Simplest leaves and stems of mosses. So next one is adaptation of mosses. Moss has adapted to life on land by having a thick cell wall that provides support. मॉसेस को अडेप्ट करने के लिए उसकी थिक जो सेल वाल है वो उसको सपोर्ट करती है. इट ऑल्सो प्रोवाइड्स अ स्पेशल स्टोरेज एरिया फॉर वाटर एंड न्यूट्रिएंट्स. So next one is reproduction of mosses. How can mosses reproduce? Mosses reproduce using spores, not seeds, and have no flowers. Most gametophytes have stems which may be simple or branched and upright or prostrate. Their leaves are simple, usually only a single layer of cells with no internal air spaces, often with thicker midribs. So next group is ferns. What are ferns? Ferns is plant that has long stems with feathery leaves and no flowers. So here is some characteristics of ferns and the picture of ferns. Ferns have roots, feathery leaves, and underground stems. They have vascular tissues. Vascular tissues are xylem and phloem. They provide support and transport. Help करते हैं transport में. They have spore producing organs on the underside of leaves for the reproduction. They are found in damp and shady places. So next one is adaptations of ferns. The most notable adaptation made by ferns is the presence of a rhizome. The rhizome or stem of the ferns develop horizontally beneath the soil, containing a growing tip that gives way to new frond development. Next one is reproduction of ferns. How can ferns reproduce? Most ferns reproduce through the alternation of generation, alternating successive generations of sexual and asexual form. The second form of asexual reproduction occurs by spores. These forms on the undersides of leaves in clusters of spore cases called sporangia or sori, which is singular sorus. So third one and the last one group of the non-flowering plants is gymnosperms. What is gymnosperms? Gymnosperms are simple and primitive seed-bearing plants without flower. The plant body is porphyritic and is differentiated into roots, stem and leaves. Leaves have thick cuticle and sunken stomata. All gymnosperms are usually wind pollinated. So here is some example of gymnosperms, which is pine tree. Second example of gymnosperm, they have needle shaped leaves as we can see in this picture. So here is some characteristics of gymnosperms, that are gymnosperms are tall evergreen trees. They have roots, woody stems, needle shaped leaves, vascular tissues, xylem and phloem for transport and sport. They have cones with reproductive structures. Cones are two types, male and female cones. Naked seeds in female cones, and they are found in dry places. So next one is reproduction of gymnosperms. Gymnosperms, any vascular plant that reproduce by means of an exposed seed or ovule, unlike angiosperms or flowering plants, whose seeds are enclosed by mature ovaries or fruits. The seeds of many gymnosperms are born in cones and are not visible until maturity. So second group is flowering plants. The last one was non-flowering plants and now flowering plants. Flowering plants is divided into two groups and classified into two groups. First one is monocotyledon and second one is dicotyledon. Monocotyledon have parallel veins and the dicotyledon has network of the veins, and monocotyledon parallel veins move in parallel pattern but in smaller size. Flowering plants have roots, stems and leaves, vascular tissues, xylem and phloem for transport and sport. So the example of flowering plants are flowers, fruits because they contain seeds. So here is monocotyledon. As we can see in this picture, monocotyledon has parallel veins. Some characteristics of monocotyledon, they have one seed leaf. Main differences between monocotyledon and dicotyledon is they have one seed leaf and dicotyledon have two seed leaves. Monocotyledon have one seed leaf and they have parallel veins and they are herbaceous plant. For example, grass and maize. So second one is dicotyledon, they have veins in network. Some characteristics of dicotyledon, they have two seed leaves. Monocotyledon have one seed leaves and parallel veins, and dicotyledon have two seed leaves and network of the veins. Leaves have veins in network, for example trees, sunflower and rose. So at the last conclusion of all my presentation, that plant is further divided into two groups. First one is non-flowering plants, second one is flowering plants, and non-flowering plants further divided into three groups: mosses, ferns and gymnosperms. And the flowering plant, which is further divided into two groups, monocot and the dicot. Okay, thank you for your attention. If any question anyone can ask.